Hey, good night, my people. What's up? Hope and trust that you had a good day today. Today is Friday, the 23rd day of January, 2026, and the time right now is 10 minutes after the 8 p.m. hour. As I begin to wind down, relax after a fairly hectic day. No time to relax, now watch a little TV. But before doing that, I was going through the news on the Antigua Newsroom portal, and I observed that the cabinet notes have been posted. Two items jumped to at me. I'm going to deal with them one at a time. In this video, I'll comment on, as you see in my backdrop there, the A.B.S.T. At the time of this backdrop here, this picture, the members of civil society was protesting against the government. They were going to increase the A.B.S.T from 15 to 17%. This hike was supposed to be made effective on Monday, the first day of January 2024. And the purpose was that the adjustment was aimed to increase government revenue to help cover the 2024 national budget. Right? The 2024 national budget. So I think this protest actually took place in December 2023. I think the budget was presented in December 2023. Stand to be corrected, but that is my thing. But this 2% hike was made effective or became effective on Monday, the 1st of January 2024. And there was much talking about it. The UPP have for a number of years now been making suggestions to the present government as to how it can make some adjustments to make life a little bit easier for the majority of us who are struggling to make ends meet. Um, different suggestions are being made, have been made by the UPP over the years. If you follow the news, you would have heard them. But I'll get back to that when I get here. So the cabinet note says that the cabinet wishes to announce that as a matter of policy, it has approved a reduction in the Antigua and Barbuda sales tax (A.B.S.T) to 7%. So from 17% to 7%, that is a reduction of 10% between the second and third quarters of 2026. So the second and third quarter is going to be April, May, June, July, August, September. So between April and September, somewhere between that time span. Um, as part of ongoing efforts to relieve the cost of living pressures faced by households and stimulate consumer spending. The decision follows careful consideration of the effect of international events on the country's economy and continued feedback from citizens and businesses regarding the rising cost of essential goods and services. Cabinet agreed that temporarily easing indirect tax burdens will help households manage everyday expenses while encouraging increased commercial activity across the local economy. Well, as they say, as the elders will say, better late than never. Um, Better late than never. The government obviously have come to the party a little late, but they have reached the party. As I said earlier, the UPP, I have heard the UPP making a number of recommendations. Yes, we do import everything, and as the cars go up overseas, it comes here. But suggestions have been made as to how you can juggle around things to make it a little bit easier. Um, I noticed that it says here it speaks to international. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Feedback from citizens and businesses regarding the rising cost of essential goods. And there was something here that says international event. Oh, the decision follows careful consideration of the effects of international events on the country's economy. And when I saw, I said to myself, what international events could they be referring to? I went back and I looked at the what the price of oil is roughly. And I saw that in 2021, Brent crude topped $60 for the first time in over a year in February of 2021. So it would mean that prior to February 2021, it was below $60, right? And 2025 to 2026, that's last year and the early part of this year. Throughout 2025, oil prices frequently hovered around the $60 mark, with WTI dipping below $60 in early 2026 amid the concerns of oversupply. So basically, the price of oil between 2021 and now have basically been at the top end, $60 per barrel, roughly that. It would have been lower. Yes, we would have known that and heard that the government would have adopted a some pass-through mechanism. And we all know what the issue is like in Antigua with that. Just look at the fuel variation charge on your electricity bill, and you'll have an idea. So I don't know what they refer to as international events. I don't know if the government is anticipating that there's going to be some fall off from the CIP revenue, taking into consideration everything that is happening um in relation to what America the campaign that America is on. No, I don't know if the government is anticipating that there's going to be a fall off in CIP revenues. And also with the visa situation, that is going to have a some negative effect. So the government probably saying, you know what, if I can stimulate spending, um, if I can stimulate spending, I will still get the money in a different way. Because if you reduce 10% and then spending increase, government is still collecting taxes. So from an economic standpoint, I'm no economist, you know what I mean? But just basic common sense to me, would say that that is a good move. I can't fault that move. But having said that, that is a good move. Um, the government have come to the party a little late. Definitely, not a little late, plenty late, because definitely the cost of living have been going up around here for years, for years. And citizens and everybody in social groups, political parties in the society have been asking for some assistance from the government. Maybe now the government hand is being pushed because uh persons may be eyeing an upcoming election. We don't know when. So there are certain things you would want to do, I would assume, as a government, um, to accomplish before going to an election. And of course, if the electorate feeling pressured as we are being pressured with these prices, it might not bode too well for a sitting government. Um, once an election is called, and it must be called. So, yes, I am glad to hear that this is under consideration. And as it would have said, it if they're going to go that route, it should be sometime between the second quarter and the third quarter. I think that's what I saw. Second and the third. So that would have been between April and September. Somewhere between there. They will make a final decision on that. I would assume that they might be listening to hear how hard the cry continues by people before they actually move. Um, Government is definitely going to have to cut back on its wastage. I'm not going to get into where that might be. The government will have to look into that, and I'm sure that persons will voice their opinion along certain times, so they'll know. But government is going to have to cut back in relation on its wastage and tighten up there. I would have said on a previous video that what is happening in America is bound to happen here. It is bound to happen here because if big government is the meal ticket or what government has is straddled with to pay on a monthly basis, government must become more efficient in its operations to reduce costs so that those monies now can then go to different programs, social programs, etc. So I know that what we're seeing happening outside it must come here. It must come here. I'll touch on the other topic that jumped at me. I propose amnesty again, but I'm not going to mix this topic with that. That's a video I will do after. So let us watch and see and continue to try and make ends meet as best as we can until we see what's happening. You know, when I heard this, my mind ran back to an incident. I used to go to a shop to buy a particular item, and let's say the cost was $5. Something that I like, so I go and I buy it. Another shop opened not too far from that shop, and they were selling the same item at $4. So I go to the one with $4. And when the operator of the first shop recognized what was happening, they then dropped their price to $4, from $5 to $4. I never went back to the shop. I never went back to the shop. And when the shop that selling for $4 don't have the item, I go without it. I don't buy it from the shop. Because if that person, based on the selling price of somebody over here, could have brought down their cost by $1, it means that they were robbing me with $1 all the time. That's how I see it. There's a particular baker shop that I'm not gonna say I don't shop there, but it's my baker shop of last resort. It's my baker shop of last resort. People say when the woman and I rob the particular person, he just go cap the price for the bread. Well, me na feed nobody habit like that. So I'm just saying, as a consumer, it's your money. You spend your money in the most efficient way as you see fit. So when I think that there has been so much outcry to this government to look at ways to bring down the cost, to benefit, to give some relief to the poor. Um, just when the 2% went on, I can remember the big argument. Oh, you became up X amount of percent, 15%, all kind of percent, and they were justifying the 2%. Now, what, 2 years after, 2004, 2005? Don't tell me that within that 2 years, the cost of living expanded so dramatically that you have to now bring it from 17 to 7, drop off 10, you know? But the Lord work in mysterious ways, his wonders to perform. No matter what people tell you, eventually the truth keeps popping up. You have to see it. The truth is going to keep popping up. You have to see it. We just came out of a budget debate a few weeks ago. What we know, January, right? A few weeks ago. And everything was hunky dory. Remember? Everything was hunky dory. On the 23rd, we're hearing this now. We know we go. We know we go. I keep saying on these videos that we live here. I live in Antigua. I don't live out of Antigua so that I read something on the newspaper or I listen to something on the radio, but I can't relate to it because I'm not on the ground. No, I live here. So I know what goes on. I have a pretty good idea as to what goes on here. If the government believes that it stands to benefit politically from this move, I only speak for me. I only speak for me. As I said, they've come to the party. They've reached the party real late. They've reached the party real late. In my opinion, whatever a government, whichever government is a sitting government, does for poor people, because that's what they're there for, to ease their burden, fine. But if you believe you're going to gain politically from me with this, and this time, let us wait and see what happens when the election is called, because it must be called. It must be called. People, enjoy your night if you're going to go out, party and enjoy yourself responsibly. Please, no drinking and driving on the road. Let us avoid the tragedies Let us avoid the road tragedies. And I think the Ghanaians, I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't think they hear us yet. And I've been hearing that Cuban medical personnel have been leaving. That's what some of my friends and them up there tell me. So if you can avoid Mount St. John, please avoid it. Take care, my people. Bless up until we come together again.